What do you think about how AI might impact things like urban planning or transportation, particularly maybe in the context of climate change? Yeah, I'm curious if you have any interesting thoughts on how AI, machine learning might transform our urban world over the coming decades.
It's a good question. And to be honest, I'm not tremendously optimistic. I think many of the, I'm very optimistic about a lot of things, but our urban world, I think, is something that in many times the largest problems that we face are uh, due to people problems rather than technical problems. I think that AI is a powerful tool for solving people problems. And I'm sorry, for solving technical problems, and the less powerful tool for solving people problems. So one example is I had a professor back when I was at Brown who I really he was an incredibly brilliant guy. And one problem that I remember he was working on, his name was Philip Klein, professor at Brown. And one problem I remember he was working on was applying graph coloring algorithms to gerrymandering problems. So identifying how would you most equitably assign voting districts to a particular region based on where people live and populations. And I remember thinking, this will never happen or ever come into play because nobody has an incentive to make things the most equitable way. The incentives are to try to benefit whichever policy you're trying to get passed or person you're trying to put into power, and those are always how the decisions will be made for these kinds of things. And perhaps that's a very kind of cynical perspective on this particular area, but I think the human angle on things like city construction is perhaps too dominant for technical approaches to really have the same kind of transformative power that they'll have in other areas, at least in the sort of immediate future.
Okay, yeah, that's a good answer. Um, I still I want, there's like tangential ways, I guess things like to the extent that AI could be helpful in keeping the plasma contained in a nuclear fusion reaction. I guess we could have a lot more abundant energy. But yeah, in terms of actually urban planning, yeah,
There's tons of applications in energy, in even global warming. Things like simulations are possible. The chemical development is something that's tremendously enabled by simulations, as well as all sorts of different areas than engineering and manufacturing. There's many things in the world of atoms that advances in machine learning technology and AI technology have already shown tremendous advances on and will continue to do so. But there's always a tension between what is possible from what technology makes cheap and efficient and effective, and what are the incentives and structures of our society that we need to operate within.